Hello everyone. Welcome to revision class series of Financial Accounting 6. I am Ms. Akila Pai, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of Commerce, Sri Venkatramana Swamy College, Banpal. Today in this video, I am going to revise on the chapter Ratio Analysis. Already 3 videos of detailed discussion on this chapter are available in our YouTube channel. The link of those videos will be provided in the description box. Please go through those videos. Today we are just going to discuss only important concept based on previous year's question papers. So let us take up the concepts one by one. The first concept is meaning of ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is an important tool of financial analysis. It is the process of determining and interpreting numerical relationships based on financial statements. In simple words, ratio analysis refers to calculating accounting ratios based on the values or figures found in the financial statements. Now, the question is why ratio analysis is considered to be an important tool of financial analysis. As you all know, the stakeholders of the company are interested in knowing the liquidity position, profitability position, and financial position of the company from time to time. By looking at the financial statements reported by the company, stakeholders may find it difficult to understand the correct picture of the company. But when the performance of the companies are expressed in terms of ratios, it will be very helpful for even a layman to understand the financial soundness of the company. That is why ratio analysis is considered to be an important tool of financial analysis. Now, what are the modes of expressing those ratios? First one, expressing the ratios in terms of rate. Second one, pure ratio, or which is also called proportion. And the third one, percentage. For example, you get the answer for current ratio. Current ratio is equal to 2 is to 1. Okay, current ratio is the proportion between current assets and current liabilities. Okay, current assets and current liabilities. Now, the answer you got here is 2 is to 1. So, this is the way of expressing the current ratio in the form of proportion, which is also called pure ratio. Now, the first expression is rate. Suppose you are expressing that current ratio is 2 times the current liabilities. So here when you are expressing in terms of number of times, it is called expressing the ratios in terms of rate. Okay, and the last one is expressing the ratios in terms of percentage. Suppose if you take this one as 100%, then current assets are 200% of current liabilities. So you are expressing the current assets as a 200% of current liability. So that will be an example for expressing the ratios in terms of percentage. These are the different modes of expressing the ratios. Now let us take up the next concept, that is steps in ratio analysis. The first step in ratio analysis is collecting the relevant information from the statements, that is financial statements, and calculating the appropriate ratios. As we discussed in the meaning, first the companies have to gather the information, relevant informations from the financial statements, and then based on those informations, they are going to calculate the appropriate ratios, that is the ratios which are relevant for their decision making purpose. So after calculating the ratios, the second step is comparison. Comparison can be intra-firm comparison or inter-firm comparison. When the comparison takes place within the organization or within the company, it is called intra-firm comparison. Okay, for example, the sales or the profits of the present year can be compared with that of past years. So here you are comparing the values of two different years within the organization. So that is called intra-firm comparison. On the other hand, when you are comparing the values of your company with that of some other competitor's company, then it is called inter-firm comparison. Okay, then after the comparison is done, the third step is interpretation and drawing the inferences and report writing. So after the comparison is over, whether it is intra-firm or inter-firm, the company has to interpret the financial performance of the company on the basis of ratio analysis. Okay, later they have to write the report, and that report will be forwarded to the management because the ratio analysis is going to help them in decision making process. The main purpose of ratio analysis is helping the organization or helping the management in the decision making process so that they can enhance their performance in the future. The next concept is advantages of ratio analysis and limitations of ratio analysis. If you look at the question paper of 2013, 2017, 2019, this question had appeared, that is, write the meaning of ratio analysis and explain the advantages and limitations of ratio analysis. For 12 marks it had appeared. So you can concentrate on this question to score good marks here. Okay. So now let us see what are the advantages of ratio analysis. The first point is ratio analysis helps in measuring general efficiency. Second one, aid in measuring financial solvency. Third one, the ratio analysis facilitates in forecasting and planning for the future. Then fourth one, ratio analysis helps in decision making process. Fifth one, ratio analysis helps in taking corrective actions. The next one, it acts as a good communication tool. As we discussed in the meaning, the ratio analysis acts as a good communication tool to the stakeholders of the company. The next one, the ratio analysis helps in intra-firm and inter-firm comparison. So these are the advantages of ratio analysis. The detailed discussion of all these points are already available in the video given in the description box. You can go through that. Coming to the next concept, that is limitations of ratio analysis. Again, there are 5 points. The first point says insufficient information. The second one, incorrect accounting data. Third one, lack of proper standards. Fourth one, changes in accounting procedures and policies. And the fifth one, arithmetical window dressing. So these are the advantages and limitations of ratio analysis. Then let us move on to the next concept, that is classification of ratios. The ratios are broadly classified into 5 categories based on the purpose for which it has to be calculated. The first category is liquidity ratios, second one profitability ratios, third one activity ratios, fourth one solvency or capital structure ratios, and the fifth one market test ratios. There are many ratios in each of these categories, but as per the syllabus we have to concentrate on only 12 ratios. Okay, we will see what are those 12 ratios. The first one is current ratio, second one liquid ratio, third one stock turnover ratio, fourth one gross profit ratio, fifth one net profit ratio, next debt equity ratio, capital gearing ratio, debtors turnover ratio, creditors turnover ratio, proprietary ratio, operating ratio, and the last one working capital ratio. Coming to the first one, that is current ratio. What is the formula we use for calculating current ratio? Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. Then the second one is liquid ratio, which is also called acid test ratio or quick ratio. The formula to calculate liquid ratio is liquid asset divided by liquid liabilities. So here one thing you have to remember, liquid asset includes all the current asset, but it does not include stock and prepaid expenses. Similarly, liquid liabilities include all the current liabilities, but it does not include bank overdraft. Okay, based on this information you have to calculate the liquid ratio, or which is also called asset test ratio. Okay, then moving on to the third ratio, that is stock turnover ratio. The formula is cost of goods sold divided by average stock into 100. Okay, here how to calculate cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold is equal to opening stock plus purchases plus all the direct expenses minus closing stock, or the other way of calculating the cost of goods sold is sales minus gross profit. Okay, you get cost of goods sold, which you are writing in the numerator. Then coming to the denominator, that is average stock, it is the average of opening stock and closing stock. So you will write opening stock plus closing stock divided by 2. Okay, then moving on to the fourth one, gross profit ratio. The formula is gross profit divided by net sales into 100. Then fifth one, net profit ratio. Net profit ratio is equal to net profit after tax divided by net sales into 100. The next one, sixth one, that is debt equity ratio. The formula is long term debts divided by shareholders funds, or debt divided by equity. So here long term debts means you have to write only the long term debts like debentures, long term loans, etc. Okay, you should not take into consideration current liabilities. Okay, bank overdraft, such things should not be considered. Only long term debts should be taken into consideration. Then coming to the denominator part, that is shareholders funds. How to calculate it? It is the total of preference share capital, equity share capital, reserves and surplus, but if there are any fictitious asset, that has to be deducted. Okay. The next one, seventh one, capital gearing ratio. Okay. Capital gearing ratio is equal to fixed interest bearing funds divided by equity shareholders funds into 100. So here fixed interest bearing securities are preference share capital, debentures and long term loans. Okay. The equity shareholders funds, as I said in the previous concept or previous formula, it is the total of equity share capital plus reserves and surplus minus fictitious assets. Okay. The next one, data's turnover ratio. Data's turnover ratio is equal to net credit sales divided by average debtors into 100. Okay. If you want to express it in terms of percentage, you have to multiply 100, otherwise you are just stating in terms of proportion. The next one, creditors turnover ratio, the formula is net credit purchases divided by average account payable. Okay. Average account payable includes both creditors and bills payable into 100. Then coming to the 10th one, that is proprietary ratio, the formula is shareholders funds divided by total tangible assets into 100. The next one, operating ratio. Operating ratio is equal to cost of goods sold plus operating expenses divided by net sales into 100. Now, how to calculating operating expenses? So, operating expenses is equal to selling and distribution expenses plus administrative expenses. Okay. The next one, the last one is working capital ratio. So, working capital ratio is quite similar to the current ratio. So, the formula is current assets divided by current liabilities. Okay. Sometimes you can also calculate working capital ratio to the inventory. Then the formula will be working capital divided by inventory into 100. Similarly, working capital can be calculated as a ratio to the turnover also. Okay, in that case, the formula will be sales divided by working capital into 100. So, these are the formula to calculate TUAL ratio, which is important from the point of view of examination. Now, let us take a few questions from the question bank. So this is the question which had appeared in the year 2019 for 6 marks. Okay, this kind of question will be given where you have to calculate 3 ratios. 2 marks will be allotted for each ratio. Okay, let us see what is the information given in this question. From the following balance sheet of Raman Limited, calculate current ratio, debt equity ratio and proprietary ratio. They have given in the balance sheet fixed assets 3,90,000, stock 90,000, debtors 1,05,000, cash 15,000. Then on the liability side, share capital 1,80,000, reserves and surplus 1,20,000, secured loans 2,10,000, which is a long term, and creditors 90,000. So based on this information given in the balance sheet, we have to calculate 3 ratios. Now coming to the first one, that is current ratio. Current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities, or if you want to express in terms of proportion, current assets is to current liabilities. Okay, now let us first see what is the total of current assets. If you look at the asset side, the current assets are stock, debtors and cash balance. Okay, when you take the total of 90,000 plus 1,05,000 plus 15,000, you get the total of 2,10,000. Then we also need to know what is the total of current liabilities. If you see the liability side, there is only one current liability, that is creditors. Okay, that is 90,000. When you're calculating the current ratio, the formula is current assets is to current liabilities. So 2,10,000 is to 90,000. The ratio you get is 7:3. So this is the answer. Then moving on to the second requirement, that is we have to calculate here debt equity ratio. As we discussed in the previous slide, debt equity ratio is equal to is to equity, or debt divided by equity. So here debt refers to only long term debt. So if you see the liability side, they have given secured loan of 2,10,000. So that is a long term debt. Then we have to write equity. Equity refers to owner's fund. So it is the total of share capital plus reserves and surplus. They have not given any other amount to be added to the capital, or they have not given any fictitious assets. Okay, it is only share capital plus reserves and surplus, you get 3 lakh. Now when you're calculating debt equity ratio, debt is to equity, so 2,10,000 is to 3 lakh, so you get the answer 7:10. Then the last requirement is to calculate proprietary ratio. So proprietary ratio is equal to shareholders funds divided by total tangible assets into 100. Shareholders funds is 3 lakh as we calculated here. Okay, share capital plus reserves and surplus 3 lakh divided by total tangible asset. If you see the asset side, all the tangible assets are given. They have not given any fictitious asset, so you can get the total of that. That is fixed asset plus stock plus debtors plus cash. You get the total of 6 lakh. Okay. Now the proprietary ratio is equal to 3 lakh divided by 6 lakh into 100. It comes to 50%. Okay. So this is the solution for the first question. Let us take up the second question. From the following data, calculate gross profit ratio, net profit ratio, stock turnover ratio, current ratio, liquid ratio and proprietary ratio. The informations given are sales, cost of sales, net profit, inventory, other current assets, fixed assets, net worth, debt and current liabilities. Now coming to the first requirement, that is gross profit ratio. The formula to calculate gross profit ratio is gross profit divided by net sales into 100. Okay, sales they have given here, but the gross profit is not directly given, so you have to take the difference between sales and cost of sales. So 25 lakh 20,000 minus 19 lakh 20,000, so you get the gross profit of 6 lakh. Then net sales are directly given, that is 25 lakh 20,000. So the solution will be gross profit is equal to 6 lakh divided by 25 lakh 20,000 into 100. So you get the answer 23.80%. Then the next requirement is net profit ratio. So net profit divided by net sales into 100. Net profit is directly given in the question, that is 3,60,000 divided by net sales is same, that is 25,20,000 into 100. You get the answer 14.29%. Okay. Then the third requirement is stock turnover ratio. The formula to calculate stock turnover ratio is cost of sales divided by average stock. Cost of sales is directly given in the question here, that is 19,20,000. Then in the denominator we have to write average stock, but in the absence of information about the opening stock, you can take closing stock itself as the average stock. So the answer will be cost of sales 19,20,000 divided by average stock 8 lakh. Okay. The stock turnover ratio is usually expressed as a rate, that is 2.4 times. So what is the meaning of this? Cost of sales is 2.4 times more than the average stock. Okay, this is the answer for stock turnover ratio. Then the next one, current ratio. So current ratio is equal to current assets divided by current liabilities. In this question they have given here inventory, they have given, which is a current asset, and also they have given other current assets. So we have to take the total of these two, inventory plus other current asset, we get the total of current assets. Okay, then divided by current liabilities they have given together, that is 6 lakh. So how to calculate the ratio now? Current ratio is equal to inventory plus other current assets, so you get the total of 15,60,000 divided by other current liabilities they have given, current liabilities they have given 6 lakh. So you get 2.6 is to 1. Okay, which means that current assets are 2.6 times more than the current liabilities. Okay, then the next requirement is to calculate liquid ratio. So liquid ratio is equal to quick assets divided by quick liabilities. Now as we discussed in the previous slide, quick asset is equal to, it includes all the current assets but it does not include inventory. Okay, so you have to take into consideration only other current assets of 7,60,000. Okay, 7,60,000 divided by quick liabilities. So here they have given current liabilities, they have not given any information with regard to bank overdraft etc. So you can directly take the current liability itself in the denominator. Okay, so here the answer will be 1.26 is to 1, which means that quick assets are 1.26% times more than the quick liabilities. Then the last requirement is to calculate the proprietary ratio. The formula is shareholders funds divided by total tangible assets into 100. So here shareholders funds is equal to the net worth of the company. So in the numerator directly you can write the net worth value which is given in the question here, that is 15 lakh. But coming to the denominator, you have to write total tangible asset. It includes all asset, that is fixed asset and current assets. Okay, and also investments if it is given in the question. So now So here they have given inventories, they have given other current assets are given, and fixed assets are given. So you have to take the total of all these. So you get 30 lakh. So in the formula we have to write shareholders funds, that is net worth, which is equal to 15 lakh divided by total tangible assets of 30 lakh into 100. So we get 50%. So this is the answer for proprietary ratio. Okay, this is the solution for the second question. Here in this video, I have solved two questions with regard to calculation of ratios. Look for similar questions in the question bank and also in the textbook. If you have any doubt with regard to ratio analysis chapter, you can contact me. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching.